Monthly progress meeting number 8. Any comments on the previous meeting minutes? Safety security projects issues. I know there's been some cleanup going on 8th Street. It looks better.
They finished. Good. Perfect.
And Scott, I guess you'll let us know. I mean, yeah, I know you've got a couple people that are in touch with, a couple residents that are in touch with you regarding that stuff. So if you hear any more feedback from that.
Yeah, I think the fact that we jumped out there and got some things done, it's great.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Anything else regarding work, safety, security, any project issues?
No.
Report. All good. Want to run through work for the past 30 days?
Continuing pipeline. Way. So they're slow and steady. It's just one of those things. They're getting through some boulders and some mixed.
Was that a text or do you have an app for tracking the progress?
No, I get updates every day. I get.
Okay, I was just like, oh, let me dial into the SCADA from later. I was just like, oh, okay.
I'm teaching with a good time now. We get updates every morning, and of course, if we wanted to shoot the young construction, Jason Young, pretty sure he has updates to the nearest inch.
Yeah.
I swear, he knows every time. But working on that, pushing our way underneath that kind of grass area between pit and the lanes of travel. So Finch has been out there shooting everything, making sure we've got monitoring done. We'll get updates on the settlement monitoring from them to y'all. And other than that, continue on railroad with the pipeline. So Mr. Newton, as far as I know, is happy. I haven't heard any other complaints. Jackie, have you heard?
No, I talked to him this morning. He sounds good.
Perfect.
Okay. And next 30 days.
Next 30 days, down. We should see beginnings of the Norfolk Southern Board. That will be a separate crew from the microtunnel guys. In fact, it's a crew that was on our South Carolina project. They're finishing up down there and they're coming up and they're running 24/7 down there. So they'll just carry on up here.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. A day and a night shift. Yep.
Okay.
We've already let both Norfolk Southern and Rail Pros and our flaggers, which is NCRR, all of them know. They all have the schedule. It's all been confirmed. So they either got it to either off.
Okay, so we do have firm dates on when that's going to happen.
And I can send it to you. They have firm stuff from Rail Pros. I'll forward that to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was.
Why would Bill doesn't need it?
No.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay.
I'll send you either the first night. So spoke with Corey today. They're just, when they start, they're just going to go start there.
Okay. So, okay. Yeah. So Norfolk Southern doesn't, I mean, they could just, until they get up within the right of way or something, they can start and stop if they want.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
But I mean, that right of way is what, 100 foot wide?
Yeah.
There's
Like you
touch their
said, it's
property.
only 9 feet. Get the crews off, get them. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That should carry us in through starting September, carry us into October, and their projected schedule is being done mid-October.
Okay. So, I mean, with the finish up on Railroad, Jack and Board, Norfolk Southern, and the continuation of work at I-85, I mean, that's pretty much everything up to, well, with the exception of the stopover by C and 8th then, right?
And then we're looking at this, Liz was looking at this morning, and we just talked about this briefly, but we had an idea, try to just get as much as we can pipe-wise in while we're here.
Yep.
Is start on C streets, because the gas runs away from us right there at night. So starting around manhole 57, 57,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to lay out from there. There's a gas crossing, but we'll handle that. That's something we can mitigate, but lays from 57, 57 all the way as close as we can to Mount Hope. One thing we might have to do, or just do a reconnect or a plumb around, is that sewer right there off of C and 11th, but we could reroute that around temporarily to get around the manhole. But lay that and give us some more footage, and that'd carry us into probably November perhaps. then gives us more time on gas guys.
So what sheet are you on
Go
there?
to C203. Upstream of 9th Street, manhole 5757. It's station 3700 roughly,
Gotcha. Okay.
and lay up there. The 11th Street lift station wouldn't be in the way because the force main's behind the curve
Mhm.
for this, so we wouldn't plug that in yet. That would still stay in function. But you go ahead and lay down B, get that hard work done, because that's gonna be some coordinating effort, I know, with like Sunrock and everybody.
Mhm.
And then lay on down A, and then get as close as you can. Now hope,
Okay.
not interrupting anything, and that at least gets us footage and some more time.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, I think that's good. I think the only concern coming from our end would be if we are in there and digging at just the restoration work. I mean, I know, again, not knowing how long we're gonna be kind of, I don't want to use the word shut down, but how long we're gonna be delayed in terms of getting stuff coordinated with Enbridge. I don't want, if we do get into C Street, I'd want to do some kind of good, decent restoration of the pavement when you're all done. So that's not an issue, or we don't generate another list of complaints. Yeah.
And the goal would be here instead of 5 for
Yeah.
Enbridge, so we can stand and say, hey, okay, cool. We said 57, 57, can we go down to 8th and finish 8th C in that time frame?
Mhm.
But it's up to y'all, obviously, we're looking at it. We think it's viable, like, so Liz came up with it this morning, looking at it pretty
Okay.
close.
So would you, so you wouldn't go back to A Street now, you'd go start on C, once you wrap up on River?
And go on down to C and catch it there and come up.
And work back to.
Yeah.
And
Because we've got enough room, it looks like, to get off the gas main enough for less blast. So we get some relief and then
Mhm.
carry on. I think they'll do some shots. We'll have to watch that crossing. But that's just one crossing to get around it. I mean, see any other ones troubling? I think we can get through it.
You said that would take you to November. Was one of your concerns having 8th Street not completed? You wanted to have that.
Well, let me say this, I like the plan. It's like building backwards, correct? It's kind of mixed up for a lot of us to be jumping around like this, but I think if your grades are good, your elevation, your alignment is good, there's no reason you can't start that manhole and continue down. Right? My hope was that we could finish at least the 8th Street 200 or 300 feet up to the intersection, just to get done on that street and off that street. That was the hope. I understand that there's still some conflict with the gas line. We talked about that last Friday. We could have additional discussion about that. If we are going to abandon 8th Street and not do anything until the gas company says clear of streets, then I'm going to insist that we do more cleanup and some type of temporary pave on that street. Because I do not want to roll into Thanksgiving or Christmas under that condition. In fact, we have to be a little bit sensitive to what we're doing now through the holidays. We have plenty of time to talk about that, but that would be the one refinement. I would probably ask you to take a look at to see if there's a possibility just to finish that last 200 or 300 feet up to the intersection, get that street done with it. We will then focus on that last remaining island, C Street, at some point when we get to that. So doesn't have to be decided today, but just please consider that as we're looking at this.
Then just initial thoughts, and this is just from history on this, is we know our rock accelerates in height
Mhm.
quite dramatically down 8th Street. And the bad thing is that when we shot with Enbridge down here at the bottom where we're shallow, we hit that 5 inches of PPV and it cracked the rock.
Mhm.
And it only gets worse the more we come up 8th. We are actually talking about this a little bit of, pulling the pipe, taking the, if we need to be cleaned up by Christmas, and that gives us more
Mhm.
input here, of taking a stone pile and taking it up to us where we are now, using it. And
Mhm.
go ahead and get the stone, so we're not moving twice, we're not double shipping material, and just tidying up down here like you're talking about, temp pave and whatever we need to. We can definitely take a look at it. Ron, your initial thoughts on that with the rock?
We're going to exceed the limits on the process.
Yeah.
With the gas company working on relocation and stuff. And I think that would just
Mhm.
aggravate a situation we know is we're going to exceed the limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we might be able to get 50 feet, 100 feet, a little bit more
Mhm.
and not exceed, but there's no way we can make it to the intersection.
Okay, yeah, and that is, and Scott, that's kind of what, when I was talking to Austin after our call on Friday, I said, what can be done, for getting the rock out of 8th Street, knowing that we've got these limits set by Enbridge and knowing those might be difficult to achieve, but we at least need to make a good faith effort to try to meet them. And what I'm hearing is that you don't even think it's worth.
After that test shot, we did that test shot, we hit a 5, they made us stop, but everything stopped after
Mhm.
that, and we didn't even crack the rock.
Mhm.
And that was the thing that got me, is we hit 5 inches of PPV and didn't even crack the rock for it. And I was frustrated, and it just gets worse, the
Mhm.
rock gets taller, the pound delay needs to go up, pound per delay needs to go up.
Is the hand drilling, is that an option for getting the rock out of there? I mean, I know that's slower and everything. I mean, but,
I
We
would
would
like,
be off 8 Chris.
yeah.
oh, really? So it would take that,
You're only 4 foot at a time,
uh-huh,
and you're taking probably 4 hours to prep to get a few feet of rock with all the hand drill. It's like a
Right.
jackhammer with a drill. I mean, it's labor intensive. It's very,
so that would be like constant drilling and blasting every day from now until Christmas
yeah.
to do it that
If we would
approach.
lay a pipe every so many days. that would be
Okay, yeah,
footage.
you do good to get a pipe a week.
Yeah, that would cut you down.
Okay,
Pipe every so many days.
okay. So, I mean, and again, what we're just doing is we're just making sure everybody is aware of all the options that are out there. So, I mean, Scott, that is, I mean, instead of going out there with the drill machine, they're going out there with hand drills, saying, all right, we're going to look to try to remove a chunk of rock about the size of this table with this next blast.
So the ultimate solution is moving the
They won't let us do any sort of, the thing that gets me with it, they won't let us do any sort of PPP other than, which we've heard in all the meetings that with HDP, they're not as worried about it, now they are.
Mhm.
The two sides of the coin thing, driving me.
And as Chris has brought to the table many times, the question of, okay, so you move the gas line, how far? Stem, 3 more?
Yeah.
Right.
To break up that rock? I mean,
Right.
If you're already at 5 ppb, the gas line 20 feet, are you gonna be 5 ppb or less at depth as well?
And that's, I think the other question we're probably going to need to get from, or the other answer we're going to need to get from Park is if we go through this process of moving the gas line, what we were talking about, 20 feet, is that then going to allow you to get the blast in? And I mean, because we don't want to go through the whole process of moving at 20 feet. Enbridge is locked onto this 4 ppv and then find out even moving at 20 feet, there's no way we're going to get close.
It sounded like from the meeting we had with Michael, Carolina, it sounded like they felt that not only the gas line, but the water and sewer.
Yes.
That's what.
Yeah, and then moving the gas line and then possibly also moving
Yeah, putting
the sewer line even. Yeah.
Maxing that separation.
But yeah, I mean, we would still, I think we're still, before we pull the trigger on any of that, we'd still want to kind of get Parks sense that, yeah, if you do all that, then yes, we feel we can
I
blast.
think we can get a plan pulled together for Carolina Drill.
We can, we would still love to get a little bit of latitude, because you're dealing with,
Yeah.
if the rock is seamy, if it's this, there's so many variables out there. You would hope that when we get started, say we do get a 5 here or there, oh, it's plastic fine, they're working hard,
Mhm.
making adjustments.
Right.
Because it's a moving, and you're adjusting and changing each day.
Yeah.
It's not an exact science we're dealing with.
Yeah. That if you do go blasted, you get a 2, a 2.5, a 2, and then a 5.5, they're not going to be like, oh, no, stop you down. We're shutting you down again.
Right,
Yeah.
and you could load 2 shots identical
Mhm.
and get a different reading, just based on the seaminess of the rock or
Yeah.
variables that are in the ground.
We could have the option to bring in the CNG trailer and do that. I didn't really understand his comment about it won't buy you anything, but my question is, if we were to go that route, put it above ground, can we not go ahead last, get this work done, and then relocate the gas line and be ahead of schedule as opposed to being behind schedule?
They were saying they would need to, well, I think there was, my understanding on that is that the cost that they would need, they would have to shut down, and I can't remember the exact one, but basically shut down that whole part of the neighborhood. And bring in, I think I said 4 CNG trucks, and that they've only got 2. They would have to rent another 2, and then even then, the 2 that they would supply, they couldn't guarantee for the whole. So I think it's also a question of like, if we were to go that route, how quickly could y'all blast?
It would take, what do we think, 2 months?
Like even if you were to, like even if you were to pre-drill everything.
Feel like heck, get free.
Mhm.
Right, because we still got the houses that we have to maintain. So once if the gas main's completely out of there, it's not like we're going to let a rotator chip. We still have the house, you know. We have to.
Still 2
It
months.
keeps us slow.
2 months now, as opposed to waiting 2 or 3 months.
Yes.
Oh, no, yeah,
Mhm.
100%. I agree with you. They would do CNGs and then does that, my question then with this, does this eliminate with CNG trailer PPV requirements? Above ground, it's at the edge of the easement. Do we have to maintain a PPV at that point, or can, Ron, like you're saying, let a rotator chip, as long as don't shake the houses too hard, let's go.
Yeah.
And then shoot. Yeah, no, I agree with you. And then they put a new line back and they can put the same trench. They don't have to move it. They don't have to get anything new. Replace the steel, right, the same one. We're done.
That would be my preferred
Yeah.
option.
I agree.
As far as when could we can start, I mean, once we get the green light, after that, it's just making sure we're up to date with the fire marshal, and we can be there the following day.
Instead of eating the whole elephant in one bite, put back to 8th Street. Maybe thought about testing this theory of putting in the 2 CNG trucks.
Yeah.
For that limited scope.
Now, which direction is it fed from? It's a single feed. See, that's one problem. And I think it's fed coming up 8th, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
Because he said he was gonna have to shut off 11.
Yeah. See, and that's the problem. It's not a loop system.
But what are they doing? Are they putting a temporary gas main at the top?
Yes.
So you can put it as far as you want to go the shovel road.
Yeah,
right?
theoretically,
You don't have to
chase
do
the-
service.
You could chase the right of way. Now, what do they have to do for rehooks to hook up? How far do they have to go back to hook up? I don't know. I mean, are they hooking on in the road at the right of way line, or does he have to go to the meter? And then do they have to get right of entry every time they want to hook to that meter? I don't know. That's the other question, because he wasn't clear on how they do hookups.
I think it's still worth.
Sure.
Okay.
Because we could be chasing our tail for another 3 months and still have no defined outcome.
Right.
And I think you're right on the fact that you could do temp. Then the coating on the steel is new because you're temp, you're over here, and you're gonna replace it with an HDP at the end. So if we damage, what doesn't matter, it's on temp service.
Yeah. I will go back and ask, say that we need to discuss that option further. Yeah, again, I'm with you, Chris. I think that's certainly something we need to talk about rather than trying to move every utility down all those streets. Let's just see if we can find our quicker way.
Is there an option? Halfway. Off. And this section here, do temporary halfway up the street as opposed to the whole street.
Yeah, that'd be the other question I'd definitely ask him is which way are we feeding? If he's feeding down C and then down 8th, but Ron, I think you're right. I think we're coming up 8th and down C.
Yeah, because I was surprised when he said the single feed that Christian was coming from. I would have never guessed.
Because if they're
Hey,
gonna take.
Bill. Yep. So just a couple things that I can't really hear most of the other folks very well. So I'm just picking up pieces here and there. One of the questions was, where's the gas coming from? Somebody said it's not looped. That's correct. And what the gas company told us is it's coming from C and, or excuse me, 11th, and then goes down C and then up 8th. So if we do anything on 8th, they're shutting down 8th, C, and 11th. I'm pretty sure that's what they had indicated.
Yep.
I thought I heard another discussion related to like the temporary, given the temporary service, and that's fine. We can do a temporary service, and then we're paying for the trailers to come out, and they're renting trailers, and we're providing temporary service to everyone on those 3 streets. And then we're going to have high PPVs. So then we're also going to pay to replace the existing line. So now we're paying for both temporary and permanent.
Yep.
As opposed to let's just relocate it and then pay for temporary or permanent only, no temporary.
But it is
So-
a design component that could take a long time, or the construction, that could take a long time as opposed to installing a valve, not cutting every single person off on 8, C, and 11 at one time, doing only parts of it. What if we're more strategic and every 300 feet we install a valve on the gas line so that we could isolate areas that had to be maintained while the trucks were in servicing that area, right? So you just kind of work your way. So give that some thought too, and look at that.
Yeah, Michael, did you get all that?
No, but I can catch up with you after.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think we've discussed a lot of options. We've discussed just putting in the line. I mean, we've talked about having an open trench, putting in the permanent line and having it the trench remain open as opposed to close, backfilling it to give us some flexibility there. One question I have for Park is I understand that the feeling is that we've already done some test shots and we got 5 PPV and we couldn't hit the 4 that they're looking for, but I don't believe that we've tried the air gap. And so is there a reason why we can't try the air gap and then see if we can work our way down 8? Because I think everybody believes there's benefit to an air gap. We just can't quantify it.
I mean, we could try. We'll talk with Carolina Drilling and have them factor in. I don't think they'll be able to put a numerical value on it on a plan, but we can look at trying it. And, maybe we say we put enough powder in there and try and break the rock and see what it does. What you think?
And more delays.
Yeah.
We put more delays in there. We can certainly try it.
Down on 8th and let's see what we get. And if we, put enough powder in there to break the rock, and when we get an 8 or something like that, and just see, they'll be there. So, I mean, worst case, they'll shut it off and fix it.
Yeah.
So I think what we talked about on the call with Enbridge was putting in the air gap, starting with a small blast and working our way up from there. So not jumping to, whatever we think is ideal, but starting out small and then trying to find some combination of blasting, hand drills, whatever we need to do to work our way down 8. So I think the expectation is we're going to blast all the rock and break it up needs to go out the window on 8th Street. I don't think anybody's asking for that. I think we're asking for air gap, blast what you can, and then mechanical removal after that. Can we get down 8th Street? That was my understanding coming out of some previous discussions we had that we wanted to try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can certainly.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say I can go to Enbridge and say we would like to try it. We haven't tried doing a blast with an air gap. We would like to try to do one of those on 8th. We will keep the PPV slow, or go with the smallest charge we think we can that'll break the rock. But we'd like to at least try one of those, and then also find out if we do get the CNG trucks out there with the temporary lines, does that eliminate any PPV restrictions for the blasting? As far as Enbridge is concerned, obviously the homes are still an issue, but
they said it did, but they also said that once you get up to a certain point, you have to replace it no matter what. And he used the number 18 to describe that, 18 inches.
Okay.
But yes, they did say that on the call.
Okay. And then can we cut a valve? Can a valve be cut into the gas line so that we're not having to do everything from 11th all the way down through 8th to serve the customer? So like if we can cut in a valve somewhere at the intersection of say C and 8th, that means we would only need the CNG truck to service the customers on 8th Street, theoretically. Okay. I will, draft up an email and I will, send a draft copy to the folks here in this room.
Cutting in the back.
Yeah, come down low.
You come down 11th, then you start down C, then you go down D. It's less than the length of
Mhm.
customers that you need if gas is coming from that.
Right. Okay.
And that would work directly with the plan as well that you're talking about, the rest of the project. You may want to consider going from Mount Hope towards C as opposed to C. Hope. But, you know, as you work that way, you get that plan more refined, and you can start cutting in the you know, it initially starts that you're having to do everything how gas comes, but as you start blasting, you shorten that up.
Well, then the question that becomes too is how many CNG trailers do we do if we go from C Street, like 11th and C, and work our way back? Then how
have
many?
to start off probably 4. It sounds like, I don't know, but let's just say you start off 4, and as you work towards it.
I'm thinking of those, if they could valve isolate, stick in valves, right? And we're fed from A. You're working from 11th and C and you're working your way back. You put a valve, however many 100 feet, 300 or whatever. You put that in and now you're isolating a section.
Mhm.
I guess, well, it would pick back up the farther away you got now. So you need more. I'm just thinking out loud here, see if we could mitigate going. We go from like 1 to 4, right? You can start low and then work your way up to trailers.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, I will, I'll pull together an email, for folks to review here and get comments. And then when we get that done, we can send that on to Ambridge and I'll follow up with a phone call to them as well. And while we're still on that, I guess, Jackie said it looked like they were out there yesterday, walking around. Ambridge?
Oh, their subs were there. Jackie?
It was, their sub wasn't there. That I see it was all in which that.
Gotcha.
So I mean, that sounds like,
We did have one.
okay.
Everything in, it's not that.
All right. So that was,
They did mention. Butler, even though it's in the road, right? And I mentioned to the guy in the field, I said, he's starting to get with.
yeah.
And I'm sure you guys can help
Yeah.
expedite that. I said, I don't think that would be an issue.
Now, they want us out of there about 6 months ago anyway.
Yeah.
Acquiesce to helping us
Yeah.
Right.
get those approvals, whatever. So thank you for mentioning
Okay.
that. If we locate gas on C Street, we might have to get it. C Street. Well, it's us.
Yeah.
So.
It's temporary. You could put it back in the same hole.
Yeah,
You wouldn't change it.
right.
Have we beat that horse to death, or is there anything else we still need to talk about with Hembridge? Okay. Well, I mean, beyond that, any other field observations or anything else we need to talk about at this point? The microtunnel schedule, I know, you guys, I mean, we, based on current progress, we kind of worked it out over about 60 working days is kind of what we came up to. So about 10 to 12 weeks, somewhere in there. That sound about right?
Yeah, footages have been varied.
All right.
So 12, 4, 2, and 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just depends. There's some folders.
Yeah.
Working through that. So
Okay.
hopefully that'll streamline out a little bit better. If we get a little farther along.
Okay. Yep.
It should speed up.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, I mean, obviously it's good to see that started, and if there's anything you need from us, any questions, issues come up, just let us know. And you might get a couple visitors popping in from time to time just to see how things are done. So, Submittals, RFIs, critical delivery items. I think at this point we are in good shape.
I reached out to Simon. Get me some actually close out.
Record drawings, payment applications. Obviously, Jason's gonna be out to check on stuff at the end of this job, or at the end of the meeting. One thing that came up in our previous meeting, now that we've kind of hit the end of the, whatever we're calling this. Yeah, the ARPA, but I mean, the pseudo final report kind of stuff, are they still gonna be needing to submit subcontractor reports with the pay applications and all there's some additional paperwork beyond that and
No, I mean, once the final inspection report is issued, we're kind of stepping away.
okay, so yeah, the monthly reports and the subcontractor usage reports.
Yes, still need them in the SGWASA.
But yeah, like starting with next month's pay application, that stuff doesn't necessarily need to be submitted. Okay. All right. Yeah, and then obviously, yeah, we'll hold on to all that stuff, but just wanted to check and see what the paperwork requirements were going forward. Review of pending change orders. I think there's still some couple minor things in change order 2. Rebecca had mentioned there might be a couple other things out there. Austin, is
We've
that?
got the remove one. We owe you a explanation on it. We'll get that done. We've just been pulling that up. The message boards, it's a small amount. We had the rental, the extra 2. We did
Yep.
95. And then some of the bedding stuff I've got to work on with calculating. I'm working with Jackie on calculating that up.
Okay.
So we'll get that to you all.
Okay. Anything else I haven't touched on? Okay, good. Nope. All right, excellent. Michael, anything else on your end?
That was a couple minutes late again. I apologize, but did we address the funding or reimbursement questions that Richard had?
Yeah, Richard had to leave early today. I'm going to set up just a quick phone call. Jason, I think there were some questions with that Richard had with you and
Your
What's her name?
reimbursement office staff is asking for the completed forms for the inspections that close out of the project that you're working on. And my suggestion was that the 3 of us and that finance person.
Yeah, so Halima.
constantly touch base so they understand the process, which you explained to us a month ago. It's a little bit different. So yes, they may be looking for something that is kind of not sure, but
yeah, she was, I guess, looking for the engineer certification, owner certification, all that kind of stuff, and which, you know, yes, if the project were truly done, could understand, but I don't know, maybe she just.
and actually, in the final inspection report, the issue, complete stage, the project is finished.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know if that's something, if you can just
Yeah.
clarify with her, or if put it this way, if you want us to jump on a phone call with her to discuss what's going on, but I like I said, I can understand if she's coming in and saying, well, all right, here's the final report. Where's this stuff?
We have spoken with her earlier, but I think, yes, this is the first time that we kind of countered this. She's still got that needs, yeah, I'll get back up.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, again, let us know if you need us. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Yeah. So we'll assume that's in your court, but certainly let us know if you need us to jump in. Michael, anything else?
No, I'm good. Thank you, Bill.
All right. That seems to be it. So yeah, thanks everybody for attending, and have a good rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.